Hello, it's Azra, and today I am experimenting with a slightly different format for my videos. So if you could leave a like or a dislike or a comment, provide me with some feedback so that I can improve my videos in the future. Thank you! Dear Diary, or Journal if you'd prefer to be called. It all started on a beautiful, bright, and sunny day. I had 3 new goals and I was excited to get started. My first goal of the day was beautify my mind, and I needed a lot of cobbled deep slate stairs because that was what was readily available. So to beautify my mind, I mined up, I mined down, and I may have gotten jump scared. But then it was back to work, and I had a lot of stairs to place. And I only misplaced them once or twice, or definitely not a third time. Yeah. Anyways, I then found some iron, and then I may have found some more iron. Yeah, it was kind of impressive, Diary. I seem to have accidentally perfectly engineered a staircase to narrowly avoid all the iron. Anyway, back to stairs. I placed a lot of stairs, and I certainly didn't misplace a 4th one. I would never. Anyways, now that my mine was beautiful on the inside, I wanted it to be beautiful on the outside as well. And I decided a little cave entrance sort of aesthetic would be really fun. So I mined out the general shape I wanted. And then after a few minor alterations to the shape where, I just took out a block here or there, I moved on to some of the more important aspects of the look. Replacing the dirt blocks for blocks that looked a little prettier and gave a little better of a cave aesthetic. Then I grew some plants on top, gave it the little mossy cave entrance look, and decided Beautify Mine was done. So I ate lunch, which happened to be 2 loaves of bread, and made me realize I skipped breakfast. But that's not important, so I moved on to my second goal, upgrade house, which I was originally thinking would be my house, but somebody else needed it more. And that somebody was my villagers who were currently living in a temporary circus tent that was also kind of horrendous and cramped and disgusting inside and out. And I think everyone inside agreed with me. After grabbing some supplies, I began work on the house. I figured I would use a lot of the warped stem and stuff from the Nether because it was the closest thing I had to blue, and blue is my favorite color. So I decided that was what I wanted to do, and I did it. I also figured that since I was supposed to be upgrading the house. I couldn't make a house that was smaller than the house they were already in because that wouldn't really be an upgrade. It would be a downgrade, even if the house looked a lot nicer. So I made another house. So that it was kind of upgrading to being in a village rather than a tent. But I had only made 2 houses, and the houses were kind of small. So I made one final house, and it was huge. Well, it wasn't that big. It was slightly bigger than the tent. I had to clear a little bit of the ground, so that's why the grass was gone for a while. But you wouldn't have known the grass was gone because, among other things, you're a book and can't see, huh, diary? Well, anyway, I kind of ran out of wood right in the middle of my project. So I did a bit of logging, if that's what you can call it when really it's chopping down stems. But the stems make wood, so I guess it's logging. I guess. So I used those up on the big building, and I certainly didn't forget about the fact that I would need doors on my house for the villagers that they would presumably need to get into at some point. But I fortunately had a lot of materials on hand, and the ones that I didn't have on hand, I had more mushrooms that I could bone meal for those resources. So it all worked out in the end, right? Oh, well, I guess you are a book, so you wouldn't know. Well, it did end all right. I actually ran out of leaves before I ran out of wood the second time. So I went back and, got some more supplies, and fortunately remembered at that point that I didn't have wood, and so I didn't have to run back afterwards, which was nice. So after that brief pause to restock, I didn't misplace any blocks as I filled in the rest of the framework for the house with planks. I also realized that I had unintentionally perfectly spaced out the walls to have 2 block wide windows with 1 block of support in between each window. I think the villagers will be very pleased with how it turned out. Now, I didn't feel like getting the windows right away, and I thought there was something interesting in my inventory, but there wasn't, so I got doors and destroyed the old tent because it was unneeded, and just generally started cleaning up and moving the villagers in. And they all stayed. So I put windows on it and called it beautiful. I think that counts as an upgraded house, so... And with that, I had made it to the final goal of the goal board that day. And I needed some squid. Now, I had attempted this in a previous episode, and I spent at least 4 hours swimming around the ocean, not finding any squid. So, after killing the first squid, I kind of went on a murderous rampage because all squid deserved to die after that. And it didn't matter that I was also gonna die. Actually, it kind of did. It hurt to suffocate. So I went back up for air and killed some more squid. Because they really should have had one spawn as tribute when I was looking for squid so that I wouldn't have to kill so many squid. But they didn't do that, so they all had to die. They all had to die. That ink was very important to me. You see, I needed that ink along with some feathers and a book, and it created something I needed desperately for the final goal, which was a journal. And that, dear diary, is how you came to be. Thank you very much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Please leave a like or comment to provide me with some feedback on what I'm doing well and how I can improve. And see you next week!